I am Slick Nick, the red pill pusher of hair loss. And I am again testing your balding IQ. I made a video recently pointing out the fact that basically 97% of my viewers, those who swallow the blue pill as opposed to the red pill like I do, they refuse to simply determine if they're going to go bald because it's super easy. There's 5 questions you ask and the best out of 5 tells you if you're going to go bald or not. But instead, so self-centered and so lazy most of my viewers are, they ignore that and they just leave me a stupid comment or send me a message on Instagram saying, "Hey Nick, I'm a big fan. Will you take a look at my..." No, I will not take a look at your hair because you're lazy and self-centered and immature. You need to become responsible and start thinking like a man. Take that red pill. Get over yourself. And then people will love you because that's ultimately what you want. You want to be accepted and loved by others. But you keep making it about your hair. It's not about that. So, this is a sequel to that video. And I always remind everybody, all you have to do is look at the video in the link. You'll see a video that streamlines it all. The 5 questions that you can ask yourself if you're going to go bald. And you'll also see me talk more about what I'm going to talk about in this video, which is another balding IQ test. And ultimately, this is to help you determine whether you want to continue in the matrix with the blue pill, believing in your version of reality that people are judging you on your hair and that your value is based on that. Or you can be like the 3%, like Nick Shell, takes the red pill, knows that my value and your value is not based on your hair. Society is actually much harsher on you than you're giving them credit for. The irony is that they don't care about your hair. They care about these 10 things, and I want to test your balding IQ. Go ahead and pause that if you need to, read over those, that's fine. We're gonna go through these. Remember, I'm testing your balding IQ, okay? So what I'm telling you is, can you accept in your heart the balding is not on this list? I just zoomed in on it. You didn't see it on there. We're going to talk about, in reality, as a man, I know that I'm being judged and I know that you're being judged, not on hair. And if you cannot accept this in your heart, then you will be a blue pill person who lives in that hellish matrix where your value is based on hair, which is really silly because it's a masculine trait of male pattern baldness. That's one of the masculine traits. So in reality, you are being judged, number 1, by your level of confidence. Oh, but Nick, I can't be confident without hair. Not with that weak-minded mentality, you can't. You have to think first, I am confident, therefore I can find a way. That's thinking like someone who's victorious, not a victim. Besides, no one knows the difference between real confidence and fake confidence. Kind of what I do for a living, actually. I work in the world of sales, ultimately. People respond to confident people. They can't tell if you're acting or not. If you're acting confident or if you actually are, they can't tell the difference. You have to accept that, number 1, that people are sniffing you out for your confidence, though they cannot tell if it's real or not. Number 2, they're looking for someone who respects women and helps his fellow man. So in other words, you want to see other people succeed. That matters to you. You celebrate when other people find success. You want to help other people fundamentally. It's not about you. It's about them. People see that. They notice that when you can tell that you care more about other people than yourself. Number 3, you find identity in your unique skill set. You learn what you're bad at. We're all bad at many things. And by default, you learn what you're good at. Sometimes the way you learn what you're good at is you have to know what you're bad at first. I'm bad at math, science, engineering, building anything, repairing anything. I'm bad at. I'm good at a lot of stuff. I'm bad at most stuff. And I have built my identity on that. So I don't have a low self-esteem about what I'm not good at. But I think, hey, I am good at these things and I can help other people with that. Which goes back to number 3 that we just talked about. Number 4, healthy and active. I mean, let's face it. One of the reasons that superhero movies are popular, one of the reasons that Professional wrestling and boxing and UFC fighting is popular because these are masculine men who take care of their temples. They take care of not their temples, but their temples, their bodies. They're eating correctly. They are working out. They are exercising. They're healthy. And we value that and we find that to be attractive. A man who takes care of his body. Number 5, he's decisive. And I hear this all the time. I almost need to make this number 2. Just like with Andy Bernard on The Office, he's a prime example of what an unattractive man looks like in the sense of he's completely indecisive. And that's a theme of his character throughout all the seasons that he's on The Office. To be a man is to be decisive, is to make decisions. Yes, you can delegate things to other people, but if they can't make a decision, ultimately you just want to basically be the first person to make a decision. And if they say, well, actually this, okay, we'll cater to it on that. But you want to be the man with the plan. You want to strike first, strike hard, like Cobra Kai, when it comes to having a plan and being decisive, not leaving it up to other people unless they volunteer that. And then, yeah, basically go with their plan. That makes them feel good about themselves, but always be ready to give the plan first. Number 6, committed. Been married 12 years. I worked at the same company for about 12 years until they finally folded, and now I've been at another one for like 2.5. People respect and find that attractive that you can remain committed, which also goes back to, again, being decisive. Number 7, being a leader. Instead of making it about yourself, you're finding out how you can help other people. That is a leadership quality when you can be decisive and you can be confident. Ultimately, learning how to be the leader. I don't mean being loud. I don't mean having a huge personality. Sometimes you can have a quiet personality and lead people. But people are looking for a leader. That's a masculine trait. Number 8, a good communicator. What's funny is I was so bad at math and science as a kid, I started getting into plays and then doing music in school. And ultimately, I learned how to communicate well. What's funny is as a man, you don't even really have to communicate that well. You just have to be willing to communicate and speak when no one else is speaking and know how to carry on a conversation. Which secret, have the person talk about themselves. That makes people feel good about themselves. Again, just put that attention on other people, and as long as you're leading that in some capacity, that makes them like you. Number 9, funny. You know, on almost all my videos, I started out the same. I am Slick Nick, the red pill pusher of hair loss, or whatever silly thing I say. That's 100% humor. Yet there's going to always be lots of viewers who don't get that's a joke. They actually get upset about it. And they assume that I'm actually obsessed with my hair loss instead of the truth, which is I'm doing this to make money, which I earn $500 a month off of. But also, I'm here to help the 3% who are willing to take the red pill to realize you can unplug from the hair loss hell of Matrix, where hair matters, and realize you're being judged much more harshly on these 10 things than your hair. How silly. But when I say those silly things like, I'm Slick Nick, living legend, hair loss, whatever, that's humor. Unfunny people don't get that. And that's part of the problem. When you don't have a sense of humor, it's harder for people to like you. So get funny. And then lastly, emotionally intelligent. You know when to assign emotions to which things. I'll give you a prime example. Last week, I made a video revealing who I voted for in 2020 for the presidential election. Okay, I'm not even saying I'm endorsing the candidate. I'm saying I voted for them because for me in this election, that made the most sense. Okay, I'm not even endorsing the candidate. I'm just saying I voted for them. I had multiple people say, well, aren't you going to get upset if they don't win? What? Like I'm going to assign any emotions to my vote not helping the person I voted for win. Why would I assign any emotions to who wins the election? I did my part by voting. Done. No emotions to that. Earlier today, someone left a comment on a video saying that basically they hate my hairstyle like this, that it's cringeworthy. So, and I said, well, based on the other videos, you're actually one of the few people who doesn't like my hairstyle, but that's cool. And then they said, well, sorry if I hurt your feelings, sorry if I offended you. I'm like, dude, do you realize it's impossible to hurt my feelings? Like I'm gonna give you, some random person on the internet, control over my emotions? Of course not. See, a masculine man knows that there are some times in life you need to use your emotion. But most of the time you don't. when you allow yourself to become offended, disrespected, somebody hurt your feelings, that's weakness on your part. You're assigning them that emotion. You're giving that power over your own life to that person. Over that? No way. I'm not going to do that. I know when to feel emotion. I know when to express emotion. And the answer is when? Hardly ever. There are certain times, and that's it. When it comes to expressing love to people or empathy or things like that. But who wins the presidential election? What somebody says about me on the internet? Why would I associate emotions with that? So there you go. There's the 10 things. There's a rundown of those 10 things. Okay? So now here's your call to action. Will you continue to be the 97% that continues to go with the blue pill, remaining in this matrix where hair matters? Or will you unplug from the matrix and realize you are being judged so harshly by society, but not on the one thing that you're obsessed with, which is your hair? And yeah, you're obsessed. That's why you keep watching my videos. Wouldn't you rather invest in the 10 things that society actually judges you? Now, the IQ test of this is whether you can accept that. If you end up going with the blue pill, that tells me your balding IQ. If you go with the red pill, then you get to join me in my abundance of wisdom.